Do not talk Mike and Ted and Danny. Do not start talking sports because I don't know anything about that. Okay. Um,
I just
I'm
got
in a
here.
learning process. Hey, babe. But I mean, honestly, Ted, that's the most part. I'm fun. I'm outgoing. I love to learn. Obviously, I jumped all into your live broadcast. I'm just here to kick it, just to chat it up and see what's going
I,
on with
I
everybody else.
think that's great. I didn't have any actual topics. I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna go live because I see that's what a lot of the live streamers do. They just go live, and the next thing you know, there's a bunch of people on their broadcast, and they just sitting there having an open and full blown conversation.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
I'm here. We can chalk it up. What we gonna talk about tonight, kid?
Hey,
I
Danny.
I don't know. I will cede the floor, and I'll hand it over to the illustrious Danny Thompson.
Oh no, I just hosted my own show, so I'm a guest over here. Okay, I just hopped off one. I was invited to come here, so Mr. Hicks, this is all yours. I'm
Oh man, I like I said, I don't want to talk about sports. I just
I, I just finished talking sports for an hour and a half, so I'm perfectly fine.
okay, and I was talking on the last show that um we were talking about vaccine, and I threw out there. I said, what do you think about people being incentivized? Like, if you're slated to, and this is going to sound like bribery, I get it, but if you're slated to receive stimulus, what if you tie it to the vaccine? You think that's negative? You think that's because you definitely want one thing. If you're slated to receive a stimulus, okay, and hey, this is what's coming to you. What if you say, hey, you got to get both of your shots?
I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time because what happens if it's one of those situations because there's going to be a one-off, and bigger one-off than normal is the fact of what happens if they take the vaccine could be seriously affected by it.
Right.
What happens if it causes a cause and reaction to it, and that person needs that stimulus money.
Right.
Ted, you talked about this in your show many times. Is the unemployment rate keeps going up and up,
Yes.
and that the stimulus check to some people will save their homes, will put food on their table. So now you're saying that if your body can't allow you to take the vaccine, you can't be able to feed your family or pay your rent. And I don't think you want to tie it into the vaccine.
Okay.
I think that's just stepping into too many realms, and you're asking for it becomes to a point where you're saying it's going to be discrimination at some point.
Would you incentivize it?
I think I can see incentivizing giving somebody an additional $300 to $500 for every person in the household that takes the vaccine. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you're not penalizing people for getting the stimulus, but you're also encouraging people to go get the stimulus. I mean, the packet. I mean, go get the vaccine. So right. I mean, I'm all for giving a little extra for taking that risk. I guarantee you there'll be more people that will go get that vaccine if you put a $500 price tag on it.
Precious, Mike,
I agree. I agree with that. Like, for instance, my clerk in my office, she had a double lung transplant. I was able to go get the vaccine because I really don't have any underlying health issues. However, her doctor has advised her not to take the vaccine, not take it at all, but just to hold off on it right now until they have more information. Now, what if the stimulus package and they want to say you have to take it now? I feel like that's unfair because it's not that she doesn't want to. She's following her doctor's order. So now you're going to make her choose between money that she needs or following the doctor. So I think that's unfair.
Okay. Mike, what's your take?
Okay. I was reading Cortland's comment, but
go ahead. Let's read Cortland's comments.
Yes. And Cortland actually is in the medical field in terms of, I'm not saying he's a doctor, but he's in the medical field.
Okay. Cortland says, hello, guys. I think that tying the stimulus into the COVID vaccine is crazy. Even incentives is too far because you're basically selling something that is unproven for bribes. And that's Okay, and that's valid. That's valid. So I guess a question for Cortland would be, how do we motivate people to take this vaccine when it's available?
I think the only way to motivate it is by doing what we're doing now. I took my first dose. I'm fine. Being transparent to the people to say this was my side effect or whatever the case may be. But the more that they see, especially of us saying out loud, it's no need to go get it and to stay silent because you're not helping anybody else out. Let people know that you did it. Let people know that you're still healthy. You didn't have any side effects. And then they'll be able to see. Some people need to see. They don't want to just hear. They need to see it. So.
All right. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know, it's one of those things where I'm open to having a conversation and having that open mind to say, okay, so what do we do? What do we do outside of we sit there and we talk to our loved ones until we're blue in the face, and or you find yourself, you know, either you and your loved one going to sleep and you're mad at each other, or you agree to disagree, or, you know, all the above.
Agree to disagree is still mad, but you're just mad without talking.
I don't know. We don't want to get into bribery. I get it. I'm all for that. I'm just like,
it's hard because, to Cortland's point, it is unproven, but what other way are you going to get people to go out there and do it? Because, you know, you're going to have a segment of the country that wants to get it done. That you know, the second it is available to the general public, they're going to be the first people in line to go get it. So how do you get the people that, you know, how do you get the people on the fence to go take it? I mean, you have to do something to get the people on the fence, because, you know, it's I don't know what other way to do it. It's I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. Mike,
all I can say is this, you know, like I said previously, there's going to be people that want to take it. There's going to be people that are not going to take it. And unfortunately, there's going to be some that, you know, they're going to argue with you, the blue in the face, that you shouldn't take it. There's going to be some that argue with you that you should. But to me, I'm not going to keep continuing wasting energy telling people why they should or shouldn't, or kind of having discussions, because a lot of times those discussions these days have turned into arguments and this, that, and the other, and I've got no energy for that. I'm trying to bring peace to my temple, not frustration and anger, and I don't want any of that. So a lot of times I hear people talking about it, and I just sit and observe them in general, and that kind of gives me all the answers I really need to know at that point.
Yeah.
Big shout out to my boy Information Man.
Information.
He does a phenomenal show. He does a phenomenal show. Kills it. And it's to a point where I try to stay loyal and watch his show on Haps. But sometimes I find myself going over to YouTube to watch just to read the comments in YouTube.
Yes. He's always entertaining. For every time I watch the show, he's always entertaining.
Always mixing it up. I just want to read Cortland's comments. And Cortland, thank you for jumping in here and providing these comments, putting information of the trials out. There's too much gray area surrounding it right now, and that scares people. Also, doctors I work with have been advising against it due to them not having all the information on it. Huge.
One thing I also wonder about too is I understand him saying the doctors don't have all the information about it, but I also wonder what kind of other views those doctors have, because there's a lot of doctors that are saying these types of things, but they already have a certain type of view to begin with. So naturally, they're going to say something that goes along with their view. So that's what I wanted as well.
I hate to say, is anything foolproof nowadays? Nothing is foolproof. I mean, everything is flawed. The things that we're dealing with nowadays. I mean, it's like, does this? It doesn't even stop you from getting infected. It just prepares your body.
Right.
You know, I think about the fact that, so I'm taking a second shot on Monday, and then I'm not sure, but they're going to call me back and let me know when the booster's ready. And then you kind of wonder how many boosters, because as more variants start to come out, then what?
I mean, it's different because like it's the different phases. I mean, I said, Ted, you're on trial. You're on test number 2. You got to take your second one. I think Pressure taking yours when, I think, what, first week of March?
March 2nd.
You know, and for me, my mother has got to take it in April. So, like, I look at what goes on with Presh and goes on with you, Ted, when it comes to my own mother, because I have to, I've got to make sure she's doing the right thing,
right?
And you don't, it hits every person different, hits every stage of life different, and every age different. So, what might affect Presh might not affect you, which might not affect my mom. But I also have to pay attention to that stuff too. So, I remember you was telling me, Ted, when you took it, your arm was hurting.
My arm was hurting. The only thing I felt, and this was with no aspirin, no nothing at all. So, Precious, I would like for you to follow up right behind me. I took it. My arm was hurting that day. It was killing me the next day. But I was lucky that I didn't have to go into the office until like towards the end of the week. I did feel slightly tired, just slightly tired. And to the point where I'm doing, I think I was doing an audio chat an audio conference with someone. I found myself, I fell asleep. On the call. I was like, and it wasn't even like I had lunch and then I fell asleep, but it was to the point where I woke up, I was like, whoa, like what just happened?
You got the vaccine-itis.
Yeah.
It's a very true statement. I took mine the first day. I have to be honest, I was a little geek after I got my shot, and I had to go into the room and they have to sit for